Hey there! Thanks for checking my channel, Code Rush, and for joining me as I document the process of learning to code. In this video, I'll continue the setup of my virtual environment according to the Odin project instructions. The next step in this setup covers the installation of a text editor or a code editor, in our case. This lesson actually makes a brief distinction between text editors in the Why Can't I Use Microsoft Word section. And here we find that there are two types of text editors: rich text editors such as Microsoft Word and plain text editors such as VSCode. And each was designed with specific features. The rich text editors to help us write better papers, and the plain text editors to help us write better code. Okay, and now let's find out what a code editor is. So you can think of code editors as specialized web development tools. They are highly customizable and offer many features that will make your life easier. Okay, plugins, syntax highlighting, auto-closing of brackets and braces, and linting are just a few of the benefits of using a code editor. Sounds great! There are many text editors out there to choose from, but we suggest starting with Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is a recommendation of the Odin project, and they also give us their reasons because it's an excellent free code editor. It has outstanding add-on support and great Git integration. VS Code is the most popular code editor among Odin students and moderators, so support is easy to find in the community. Okay. Now here, as a reminder, if you're using a virtual machine, you should install VS Code on your VM. And now I am in my virtual machine. You're welcome to also install it on your host, but you'll want to be sure that you have this critical tool inside your VM. Okay, I'm in my VM right now, and I'm gonna follow their instructions to install VS Code. I'm gonna open the Linux section. Let's make this small, maybe smaller. Here it is. Okay. And now let's open our terminal with Ctrl-Alt-T. And again, we have a long command here to write. I'm gonna copy-paste it. And now we're downloading the latest VSCode.deb package. We've just downloaded the VS Code package. Now we have to install it. I'm gonna follow along, copy-pasting the commands they have here listed. My password is required now. Okay. Now I think we've just installed VS Code. And I have this thing, download is performed on sandbox as root as file. You might see a notice starting with this. Yeah, it's exactly what I have here. You don't need to worry about it. Okay. Let's not worry about it. And now let's delete the installer file. Okay. Okay, let's see. The next step is using VS Code. You can start VS Code in two ways. Click Visual Studio Code from the Applications menu or use the code command from the terminal. Actually, I want to find it here because I also want to make a shortcut on my VM desktop. Let's write VS Code and add to desktop. Here it is. And here it is, the code editor, the plain text editor, Visual Studio Code. Okay, It's great that I managed the installation of VSCode in my VM, but I also want to have the code editor installed in my PC outside the VM. I'm anticipating I will not always code in a VM, and I want to get used with doing all I'm learning here on Windows also. The installation on Windows is a bit different from what I did in the virtual machine. I will not use the terminal. I will go to the Visual Studio download page and take it for Windows. And here it is. Let me grab it. Let's double click it. Here is the setup box. Okay, I accept. Never read the agreements. I have no clue what I'm signing for, but I guess it's very safe. I'll press next. Okay, I'm gonna let the destination in C location. Next. Visual Studio Code. Next. I want to create a desktop icon. Add open with code action to Windows Explorer file context menu. Open with code action to Windows. I'll let them like this. Okay, it's ready to install, and I'll click install. And click finish. Here it is. Yay. Great. Now I have VS Code installed on my Windows and on my VM. What I want now is to install some extensions, so to personalize my VS Code a bit. But in order to install them and to actually test them, I will need some code to use. Let me make a folder on the VM desktop. I'll call it test folder. Okay, I'm gonna drag it here. Okay, yes, I trust the authors. And here we can see we're in it. So this is my test folder right here, and it's empty. And now I'm gonna add a new file. I'm gonna call it index.html. Great. And now if I'm gonna open the test folder, I'm gonna see index.html, the file I just created. And now let me show you a pretty cool thing I've learned today. I'm gonna use an automatically created HTML structure. And I'm gonna do this by pressing at the same time Shift and 1. And here we have the Emmet abbreviation, an exclamation sign. Then I'm gonna hit enter and watch the magic unroll. Wow, this is great. This is actually a pretty cool shortcut to know about. Now I have a HTML structure in my file, my index.html file, but actually this structure is not saved. So in order to save it, I'm gonna press Ctrl and S, and now the filled white dot next to the name disappeared, meaning the file was saved. So in order to add extensions, I'm gonna press the extensions section. And here we enter in the extensions library. We can see some extensions here. And in the search bar, we can search the one we want. And the first extension I want to get is Live Server. This extension will open our browser and will automatically show all the changes once we save them. And we can find more details here. We can find more about each extension by going through the details. Okay, to install it, I'm gonna press the install button, the blue one here. I'm gonna install it. And now we know it's installed because now I have Go Live here. And I can click on it to run Live Server. I'm gonna go again to my page. I'm gonna click on it. And of course, it's blank because we have nothing here. Okay, automatically when I click Live Server, the browser will appear. Whenever I change something in the file, the browser is refreshed with the changes I've made. Okay, and we can end it by click to close server. Okay, cool. And again, if you press go live, the server is starting. The port is 5500. Okay. Okay. Click again to close server. Okay, this is pretty cool. Another extension I want to install is Prettier. Okay. And Prettier formats our code to look pretty, as the name states. After installation, this extension will need a bit of configuration. So let's install it first. It's installed now. And we have to go to settings and write formatter. Okay, and here at editor, default formatter, because Prettier is a formatter, so we have to define Prettier as our default formatter. And we have a list here. And here we have Prettier. Okay, and what else? We also have to check the format on save. So every time we save the file, whenever we write or change something in it, at save, the changes will be seen in the file. Okay, I think these were the two settings, if I remember correctly. Let's close this. Let's test Prettier. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna make one huge line of code out of everything here, just to see the power of Prettier. Okay. And if I press Ctrl Save now, magic! Now I have Live Server and Prettier as extensions in my VS Code, and the next one I want to install is called Auto Rename Tag, which will be very helpful for a beginner like me. And the way this extension works is by automatically renaming the pairing tags. Let me show you. So now I don't have it installed. If I change the body tag here, the first one, into, let's say, P, you see I've changed the first one, but the second one remains the same. So I have a P tag and a body tag, and they're not pairing right now. It's a mistake I'd probably do in the future. So let's install, let me change back. And let's install now the auto rename tag. Okay, here it is. I'll press install. Okay. Now let's see. Let's see the magic. If I write P, here it is. They both change. I think by installing this extension, I'll prevent a lot of mistakes. So I'm happy with this one. The next extension I want to install is Code Spell Checker. Code Spell Checker. I'm gonna take the first one. And again, this extension does what the name says, spelling checker for source code. I'm gonna take this one because English is not my native language and I'm prone to make mistakes. So better safe than sorry, you know? So let's see if I write here now, if I maybe put an A here. Because of the author name tag, they both got modified, okay? And you see now it says that I have a problem here and I can quick fix it. And yeah, not only shows me better the errors by underlying them, but also has a quick fix and suggestions, which is pretty cool. The next extension I want to install is Material Icon Theme. So the Material Icon Theme will add icons to our files because not all of them will get icons in VS Code by default. So this extension will make somehow the files more visible by adding these icons. And the library looks pretty rich. I'm gonna click install. Now it's installing. And now we can see a different icon next to our index.html file. With the Material Icon Theme, I just assured myself that in the future each file will have its own icon. The last one I want to install, I've seen this one and I think is pretty cool. Again, very helpful for a beginner like me. It's called Indent-Rainbow. Okay. Indent-Rainbow, here it is. And this extension will make indentation more readable in our code. And here we have a visual example. Looks pretty nice. Okay, let's install it. Now it's installed. By default, it comes like this. Now I know, for example, where the HTML tag starts and where it ends. Okay, and because this is my last extension, the last one I want to install, I'm gonna close the extension section here. Okay, and now we can see better how the Indent-Rainbow extension looks like. And though it looks great by default, what I actually want to do is make it look more like in this version. Okay, and to do this, I will need to follow their instructions. I will have to add these lines of code in my settings.json file. I will copy them first. Then I'm gonna go to Manage, Command Palette, and here I will write Settings. And I will check the Open User Settings. And here are the settings of our extensions. I will need to add, let's put a comma here. I will need to add that code. Okay. I need to also put that bracket. I'm gonna take the comments out. And now I'm gonna press save here. Okay. Let's see. Let's restart it. Okay. Now we're talking. It's exactly as I wanted it to be now. Okay, I think I have enough extensions for now to get started. I'll definitely add more along the way. Thanks for watching the video, and if you want, you can let me know which VS Code extensions you installed first, your favorites, or any other extension recommendations you might have.